PS2 is going to come up with a pass breakup here in the goal line right here against George Pickens. Broncos and base personnel, 2 corners, 2 safeties, man coverage across the board, coverage 0. And they got Talanoa Hufanga on the tight end. Moss against CD. PS2 against Pickens. Brandon Jones against this tight end as well. And then obviously Surtain and Singleton are keying in on Javonte Williams depending on what they do. Now, route concepts here, right? Out of goal line man. You're going to get the motion here from CeeDee Lamb, and he's just going to run to the flat, to the pylon right here. George Pickens, he's going to run across. He's going to run an over route right here. You're going to get this tight end right here is going to run over as well, trying to get depth on the back end, while this tight end crashes down hard and runs to the flat here underneath. And then obviously you've got Javonte coming out here as well, and Alex Singleton is going to pick him up. But PS2 does a great job of playing this. They even communicate they got an inside out there. Just great job. Now he goes up in the air, plays the ball, knocks it away incomplete. Let's take a look at it here once again. Let's slow it down right here. Now, look, Pickens is going to go to try to high point this. Dak is throwing it up to one of his best guys. Pat does a great job bringing that left side hand to the hip of Pickens, and his right side hand, which is what we call the ball side hand, he brings it up and through to knock it away. Pass falls incomplete. Let's take a look at it here from the end zone angle. Now, obviously the Broncos, they're really trying to plug against the run right here based on how they're aligned. JFM, Jonah Ellis, Dondrea, Tillman, and then obviously you've got your linebackers who can plug as well, and you got a safety. If it's run, you got guys that are all throughout the entire box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9-player box, man-to-man coverage here. Now you can see the motion. You're going to see the tight end block down and then release out here. You're going to see this tight end come across. Pickens coming across over here. And Pat just does such a great job, especially because he's outside leverage on this play as well. He gets into position, brings that hand forward, knocks it away, incomplete. Broncos end up forcing the Cowboys to settle for a field goal here. Riley Moss going to come up big right here in the goal line. 3rd down, 3rd and goal. He's up here against CeeDee Lamb. Broncos, they're playing cover 1. Single high safety. Talanoa Hufanga is going to help anything coming across or vertical, while you got Chris Abrams drained man-to-man against George Pickens. Alex Singleton playing man alignment here against Javonte Williams. And then you got man right here with Riley and CD. Jahdae, Barron against number 2. And then you've got, obviously, Brandon Jones playing man coverage against number 3, which is number 87 here, which is Jake Ferguson, who's been playing at a high rate. But what's going to end up happening here, Ferguson is going to run what we call a snag route or a sit route. And then Brandon Jones is going to pass him off to Talanoa Hufanga because he's inside here. Now, what's going to happen is route concepts. You're going to get the sit route, the snag. You're going to get, obviously, an outside release here from number 2, and then you're going to get a vertical outside release slant on the inside here from CeeDee Lamb as the Broncos are in man-to-man coverage. Riley Moss does a great job staying patient right here. Opening up. Now his right side hand is on the outside hip of CeeDee Lamb. Now he's going to bring his left side hand, which is his ball side hand, through to knock it away. Perfect technique, perfect coverage, incomplete. So let's watch it in slow motion here at the top of our screen. Riley does a great job, in my opinion, mirroring. Okay, now he's going vertical. Now he's cutting back inside. Does a great job getting tight on the hip here. As you see, Brandon Jones passes off the tight end. And then Riley's bringing this ball side hand through right here. Knocks it away perfectly. Great coverage right there by Riley Moss. 4 pass breakups on the day for him. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, scoreless. Dak Prescott's going to take a shot to CeeDee Lamb here with Riley Moss in coverage deep down the left sideline here. This is just a design quick shot play here. He's trying to get that one-on-one here. Obviously, CeeDee's the single-side receiver, so usually Riley will play that as man. If you have one guy in your field, you'll play it as man, especially if it goes vertical. Riley does a great job right here of getting in phase. There's some contact there between he and CeeDee Lamb, but this is a perfect red line throw by Dak Prescott. CD can't get both feet in. Great coverage by Riley. But when we talk about the red line, I mean, so many people don't understand the red line is, and why you teach essentially to squeeze as much as you can here in this position. The red line is high to the outside. The red line is usually this area right here. That's a little too wide. A little bit of a tight area right here where a perfect throw high to the outside, it doesn't matter how good a coverage you have, if you throw it there perfectly, that is something you can't beat, essentially. But Riley does a great job getting in phase and right here recognizing, hey, I got to push this guy out of bounds. He does just that. CeeDee Lamb's not able to get both feet in right here. This is really good coverage from Riley. Now, his hands on the hip. As you can see, CD kind of grabs the back of his jersey there. As you can see that little tug right there. Riley's still doing a good job getting in phase here. This is just tough. This great coverage, great play if this would have counted. but that's just a great throw, great catch, great coverage, incomplete. Broncos live to see another day. Riley Moss is going to work against George Pickens right here. This is one of his 4 pass breakups on the day, working against Pickens. And this is going to be a legal formation on the Cowboys because Pickens isn't set as the ball snapped. He's just going to try to run a slant here. Riley's going to do a great job mirroring, getting his right side hand on the outside hip, but Pickens bringing his left side hand, which is the ball side hand, forward to knock it away. Incomplete on 2nd and 12. Good technique here from Riley. Look, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, they entered this game as 2 of the top guys in the NFL. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb missed some time due to an injury, but Pickens and Lamb went over 100 yards last week against the Commanders. Now you look at this matchup here. Riley Moss, Pat Surtain's out of the game right now. Riley Moss going to see targets. The guy's going to make plays. Look, you're going to give up some catches, but you're going to make plays as well. People don't understand cornerback play in today's NFL. He's got the toughest job in the game, and he's doing just fine. Jahdae Barron is going to get the interception right here. Man, he might just be the guy that the Broncos deploy against some receiving tight ends. Jake Ferguson, who obviously was coming into the game, over 50 catches through the first 7 weeks, 6 touchdowns. The Broncos held him to 0 catches on the day. This is right before halftime here, and the Broncos, they're in dime personnel, which means we got 6 defensive backs. You got Riley Moss, you got Jaquan McMillan in the nickel, and then you got Jahdae Barron lined up covering the number 3 receiver, and then you got your 2 high safeties playing over the top, and then Pat Surtain playing man-to-man on George Pickens at the top of our screen here. And this looks like 2-man under, right? You get a 3-by-1 formation, trip to the left, 1 single receiver to the right side, and it just looks like they're playing 2-man under. And what I mean by that is you have obviously a safety who's playing kind of deep quarters coverage here. Talanoa Fonga's playing deep quarters coverage as well, and it allows the Broncos DBs to play inside and underneath. So what you're going to get from a route concept standpoint, CeeDee Lamb's going to run a slant. You're going to get number 2 who's just going to run the out route right here, and then Jake Ferguson is just going to run vertical up the seam, and then you're going to get George Pickens trying to work inside nothing, and then he tries to pivot back outside. Pat Surtain does a good job clamping him, and then you get Javonte Williams on the swing. And so what I mean by underneath here, Jahdae, watch him, because Ferguson's going to have this vertical release up the field because Jahdae has 2 safeties over the top. He can fit in right here and play underneath. Now watch his positioning. He is underneath, hand on the hip right here in phase. You can play underneath here because now you got 2 guys who can get over the top here. Dak Prescott throws this ball into that window. Jahdae does a great job turning his head around, seeing the ball, locating it, coming away with the interception. Let's take a look at it here. Once again, just good technique here, good execution by the Broncos secondary here against Dak, forcing him to throw 2 picks on the day. He had 16 touchdowns and 3 interceptions before this game. Now he's got 5 interceptions on the year. The Broncos held him without a passing touchdown in this matchup. Let's take a look at this window here. Just great location there by Barron. The Broncos have their solution here to some of the tight end coverage problems they've had over the last handful of years. Vance Joseph will play man, he'll play zone, he'll drop certain guys back into coverage. Dondrea Tillman is the subject of our film breakdown here. He's going to get an interception here. Now what's going to happen is you're going to get Chris Abrams-Drain playing man-to-man coverage on George Pickens. You're going to get zone coverage over here with Riley Moss playing the deepest man over here, playing this deep third. But you're going to have match principles here. You'll see what I mean by that, because you're going to get motion here from the tight end. He's going to run this to kind of a post. Riley's going to match him. CeeDee Lamb's going to cross underneath, and the Broncos are going to pass him off. If this was man, then they'd have Brandon Jones go with him. That's not the case. You get the out and up here from Pickens and man-to-man coverage with Chris Abrams-Drain, and then you got a safety over the top here, safety over the top right here. And Dondrea Tillman is just going to do a great job at dropping back here, kind of playing this middle hook, essentially. And CD's coming. But Jonah Ellis right here is going to make a fantastic play here to pressure and force Dak to throw this. Dondrea's going to pick it up. I want you guys to watch Jonah after we see this replay. Tillman was looking at trying to house this thing. You go from being down inside the red zone to now you're close to midfield here for your offense starting out. Great return here. Watch Jonah Ellis. Does a great job getting upfield, and then he kind of does the shoulder dip, and now he's in the backfield. Unbelievable speed and pressure right there. When we see the end zone angle, you'll see what I mean a little bit more here. But tremendous hands from Dondrea Tillman. The pass prior to this, the Broncos were called for unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, which was a soft call. This was the ultimate ball don't lie. Now, Tillman, as you see right here, he's going to be the guy we all know intercepts the pass. But I want you guys to watch right here Jonah Ellis and how he accelerates this process here, forcing Dak Prescott to throw his second interception of the day. Nice little rush. Nobody really touches him, and That's just a bad football from Dak. Great play there from Dondrea, Tillman. And now everyone's setting up blockers. I mean, Dondrea looked like old school James Harrison in the Super Bowl against the Cardinals on this play. He didn't quite go the 100 yards or get the touchdown. It was a nice play here for Denver defensively.